How about we do something a little different? How's it going, guys? Corey the Random Guy here with you today on the first video in quite a while. And we're going to change things up a little bit. We are going to start working on stuff. And I have the first project right here. Let's take a look. This right here is a club car. All right, now this thing, the story behind it is it just stopped running one day like 4 or 5 years ago. And we're gonna see if we can get the thing to run. That tiller right there, I just got running today actually. It doesn't run very good, but you know what? It runs, it's gonna be good for what we're gonna use it for. Let's work on this thing and see what happens. So first thing we're gonna do, we're going to take this battery, clean up the contacts, and put that charger on it, and see if that battery will take a charge. Alright guys, first thing I'm going to do is take this wire brush here that I got. We're just going to clean the posts on here. We're going to clean up all the little terminals, put the little bolts back in, and we're going to see if this battery will take a charge. Cleaned up pretty good. Those little brushes right here are super handy to have. Just don't get your fingers with it like I did. So let's bolt all this back up, throw the charger on it, check the oil in it, see if there's any oil in it. This thing kind of stinks, I'm not gonna lie, because it's been sitting in the barn full of barn cats for the last 4 or 5 years. And always remember to clean off your bolts too. Even though they don't look like they need it, just give them a quick once over, you should be good to go. Now you guys can see I'm holding on to it with the threads, but I'm not holding too tight so I don't damage the threads. Okay, we'll do the same thing with the little washer that was on it. Now, I'm not sure what year this thing is. I like the fact that this whole bed tilts up to where you can actually get full access to it. It's pretty cool. All right, guys, hopefully you guys can still see this stuff back together. I suppose I could probably just put the bolts in and just hook the battery up to the charger and leave everything else unhooked, but in my opinion, that's no fun. I want to see what comes to life and what doesn't. If there is something wrong, it's gonna rear its ugly head as soon as I hook the charger up to it. Gotta love side post batteries. You gotta get them in perfect or they're gonna keep going in crooked like this one is. Now you just snug them down a little bit. Not too tight though, 'cause you don't want these going crazy. There we go. Perfect. Oh, the charger's seen it. I don't know if you guys can see the screen, but oh, well, that's not good. So let's turn that off. 1 volt. Give it a couple of 40 amp shocks here. We'll see what happens with it. Turn the key on. Does anything come to life? Nope. Nothing is coming to life. Nope. Nothing. Alright guys, I'm going to let this sit here. I'm going to cycle it a few times. I'm going to see if I can get it to take a charge and start charging. I'll bring it back. While that charger's doing its thing, we're going to check air filter here just to see if there's any critters living in it or anything like that. We don't want to suck any debris into the carburetor. That carburetor's probably going to have to come off and get cleaned anyway. With that being out of the way, there's 2 wires unhooked down here and I don't know why, but I digress. Let's check. I don't see nothing living inside the intake right here. Is there anything in here? Nope. There's nothing living in there. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Let's put this, I know this air filter probably going to need changed, but for now, we're just going to kind of stuff it back in there. The air filter looks okay. So I've been cycling this battery for, probably about 5-10 minutes. Been giving it a 40 amp jolt. Problem with these new chargers is that if the battery is having an issue, it won't force charge. It'll just shut down, which really sucks. So I'd like to find an old school battery charger, because I've actually had this done before. I took a battery kind of like this. It's been sitting stone dead for a while. Left it on the charger. Even though the battery is being very resistive, it still applies electricity to it. After a while, the battery, most of the time, will start taking a charge if you have one of those old school battery chargers. Sometimes it'll take a day or two, sometimes it'll take a week. It just depends. I'm hoping that one of these days I will find a old school battery charger for this and really start bringing stuff back to life. Now, if the battery is completely crap, it'll hold a voltage, but there will be no amperage. Nothing. Battery that I was messing with that I found in the shed, I got it to hold a charge, but it will not have any amperage at all. Junk completely. I'm hoping that's not the case with this one. I'm going to pull these tops off real quick and we're going to see if there's actually any water in that. Or maybe, just maybe, might just need a little bit of water. Who knows? We're going to find out right now. It'd be very easy taking these off, especially if it's been sitting. I don't know. Oh yeah, hey, these cells have no water in them. No wonder why it ain't holding a charge. Ooh, all right. Brush that stuff away. Need that down in the battery. Chances are this battery's crap anyway, but you know, let me go get some water and fill these cells up. I'm going to see if it'll take a better charge. I'll be right back. I got water filled up. Some cells are a little bit higher than others, but you know what? At this point, it's just an experiment to see if this battery will even come to life. According to the charger, it is 1.4 volts. So let's give it a shock. Let's see if any of the cells start bubbling. Not seeing any bubbling action just yet. At this point, I'd probably break out the solar charger, but we ain't got no sun today. So I'm actually wondering if maybe I've got something running around here somewhere that'll give me a little bit more than 12 volts, 14 volts or whatever. See if I could put that on here, maybe shock it a little bit. See, now according to the charger now, I'm looking at it, 10.7654, it's dropping pretty quickly. So it seems to be holding a little bit better. It only does it for 60 seconds. So I gotta keep cycling it. I've seen a couple of cells bubble just a little bit, but while we're waiting on this, let's check the oil. Well, the oil is full, but it is black. Ugh, good Lord. But you know what? It's got oil in it. Let's see what we got for spark plug. Pull the spark plug out of it. Let's see what we got there. Oh, 13/16. It's one of those spark plugs that are too tight for getting it out with the finger, but almost too loose for this thing to not ratchet. I just love those things. Alright, looks like we got an NGK-R. Spark plug looks actually okay. It's a little bit sooted, but clean that up and see what happens. I might dribble just a little bit of oil down in the cylinder and then maybe give the engine a spin by hand. See what happens. Cycle this battery again. Let's see if it'll actually take a charge this time. Nope. Alright. It's being very resistive at this point. Let's just hope the engine's not locked up. Oh no, it's pretty free. Doesn't sound bad either. Dribble a little lubricant down in the cylinder hole here. Maybe give it a spin or something. There we go. That should be enough to help it. Plus, if there's any crap on the cylinder walls, that will be fine with that. Sounds like it's got compression too. Sounding good. Sounding good. All right. Let's go to bench grinder over here. In case you guys are wondering, of course, this is a Hart bench grinder. So anyway, we're gonna continue screwing with this battery. I'm gonna see if I can get the daggum thing to actually do something. If not, I'm gonna have to try to dig around for a battery maybe. We'll bring it back once I get a little bit of life out of this engine. Maybe get something going on here. You know, and if I can get the thing to run, I'll have to jack the back wheels up so this way the wheels can spin freely and it doesn't take off that way. So I'll bring you guys back and see what we can do with this here. Alright guys, it's the next day. Did a few things off camera. This little deal here was completely froze, so I had to take all of this out just to get this plate out of here so I can get this pivot point free. It's now free and it's starting to turn, but now we need to look into carburetor. There was a bunch of water in there. I think we got it down to gas now. But the carburetor is right here. I'm going to take this thing apart, blow all the passages out, and just see if it'll work. Looks like that adjustment there is put in all the way. That's not supposed to be right. But let me get you set up on a stand here. We'll take this carburetor apart. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. There's a little bit of gas in there. I'm going to start taking the bowl off first. This carburetor, let's see. Little bit of gas in there, but rest of it's water. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Oh yeah, nothing but water in there. Good Lord. All right. But the bowl itself really doesn't look that bad. Relatively clean for as long as it's been sitting, which is nice. Just take the float off of here. See if needle and seat's any good. Let me go grab a needle nose so I can pull that out of there. Alright, pair of needle nose. Just grab the pin. Don't squeeze down on it too hard, but just enough to get it out of there. Needle. You guys can see that. Looks like the needle's pretty good too. Might just need cleaned out or something. Seat looks pretty good. Okay, we have a jet right here in the middle. And we have another jet right here. I'm not sure what this jet is for. To be honest, I've actually never seen a jet outside of a carburetor like this, but I suppose. So let's get that jet out of here. There's one jet. It goes right there. And we're going to get this adjustment screw out of it. Half, one. So about 1.5 turns. Look at you guys. Here we go. So this screw is about 1.5 turns out. It looked like it was in all the way, but it's not. So we'll set it back once we get this out of here. Get everything cleaned out. It's got a little bit of crud on it, but nothing too bad. Cool. Alright. I don't know if this screwdriver is going to go down in here, but we can give it a shot. Well, maybe. Let me modify this screwdriver. Oop, there we go. Let me modify this screwdriver a little bit to fit down in this little hole. Get rid of those shoulders, so this should fit right down in there. Let's see. Oh, look at that, like a glove. All right, let's try to get maybe. Looks like somebody's tried getting in there before. Let's see if I can get it. If not, I may just have to blow it out with some carbon choke cleaner. There we go. Yeah. I think somebody's been in this before and screwed that up. There we go. Sweet. Here's the main jet. This goes up through the carburetor, and as the engine's spinning, it sucks gas through this top part there, which sits right here. I'm sure you guys already know this, but you know, show you guys what I'm taking apart here. A little bit of crud on it, not a whole lot. And then this, it's a little jet too. Let's see, you guys can see it's all boogered up. Somebody's been in it before. So I'm going to clean all this stuff out, make sure everything is going to work properly, the float, all that fun stuff. I'm going to get all this stuff blown out, clean some of it up, and I'll bring it back. Alright, I lied. We're going to do this together. Alright, so we're going to take the first jet. I'm just using some gum out carbon choke cleaner. Just going to spray a little. Oh, look at that. That's cleared right out. A little bit of this. Excellent. Now that thing's cleaned off. Nice. I don't think the fact that, you know, these jets are plugged, but, you know, it doesn't hurt to clean them out just to make sure everything's kosher. I don't know if this one's meant to be clogged or what's going on here. It's definitely clogged. So we may have to maybe run a small wire or something in this one. I'm not sure. I think it is actually meant to be clogged unless this thing was purposely plugged up in replace of something else. I mean, who knows? It was kind of weird how it was on the outside of the carburetor, so I have no idea. Kind of weird. I've never seen that before. So now we're going to go through, clear out these passages. Make sure they all work. Okay. Alright. All those passages seem to be pretty clear, so let's see if I can find a little piece of a wire brush or something. Maybe shoved down in there to see if I can get it unplugged. Alright. So I'm just going to take one of these little wires here off of this wheel. Just kind of poke through. See how I'm doing this? Just kind of poke through that just to make sure that there's nothing in there. I still really can't see through it. I'm gonna give it a squirt, see if there's anything that goes through it. Nope, nothing is going through it. Well, let's take that same wire, wherever it went. There it is. Kind of go through this side. You go right down the middle. There's something in there. I'm just not sure what. All right, well, I don't know if this thing's supposed to be clogged or not, but yeah, it's definitely clogged. So just gonna leave that well enough alone. Now we're gonna put this thing back together, put it back on the go-kart, just to see if it will work. Needle and seat back in. Put the little float arm deal back in there. Just kind of tap it on both sides. All right, cool. Now, if this float is working correctly, you guys will hear it. I should be able to blow through when it's down like this, and when you put up, it's not supposed to blow through at all. So let's give it a shot. Looks like it's working just like it's supposed to. Sweet. All right. So we'll put this bad boy back in there where it's supposed to go. We'll take this little guy. Yeah, this is the one. And we'll put him back down in there. Give it a little snug. And then we'll go ahead, put the bowl back on here. Somebody's been in here before and they had this part towards the engine. You couldn't open that up at all. This is basically just like a little drain valve is all it is. If you get water in it or something, you can just quickly drain it. Gasket's still good, so we'll just kind of put this stuff back together. I'm going to invest in a ultrasonic cleaner here pretty soon, because this is basically what I'm going to be doing in this garage here. Just doing something like this pretty much every day, because you guys know I like working on stuff, so and I'll have a bunch of videos out on that too. Get this screwed back down. Like I said, I think this was just a replacement or something, modified jet or something. I'm not 100% sure. So, all right, now we'll take this screw adjustment and we'll go in all the way and back it out 1.5 turns. Okay, so we got half, 1, half. Perfect. Alright, let's go take this now cleaned out carburetor, put it back on the go-kart. We're going to see if it'll start. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Still working on the camera angles when it comes to this sort of stuff, so bear with me. I actually had to borrow my father-in-law's boss's battery charger just to get this thing to turn over last night. It's pretty funny. Let's see. It's kind of a funky setup. Throttle here. Pin that holds it in place. Perfect. Alright. Sorry if you guys can't really see what I'm doing. Just putting the return spring back in action here. Now we'll take this whole thing, get this out of the way. This whole thing. Back in there. Come on. Can you do it without kind of tight quarters to get in here. There we go. All right. That carburetor's back in place. This little breather here can go back on here like so. In case you guys are wondering what kind of golf cart this is a club car. I call it a golf cart because, I mean, let's face it, some of this stuff is only used on golf courses, but a lot of farmers use these things too for hauling stuff around on their property and stuff. So, you know, it's kind of cool how they can use something you would think would be on a golf course, but then they can use it on the farm. So that's kind of cool. You know what? I'm gonna get a wrench. That's much better. All right. Let's make sure we still have gas coming out. You guys will be able to see on this tank, I don't know if you guys can see it now, it's just out of frame, but there's a vacuum fuel pump. It's basically ran from the vacuum of the engine, and it sucks fuel out of the tank and then sends it through here. I just want to make sure that we still have gas coming out instead of water. There we go. Yep, that's gas. All right. So we'll put this on. We'll let it spin and fill up the float bowl. Maybe, with any luck, it'll take right off. Hopefully. We'll see how it goes. Here we go. Well, you guys probably shook around like crazy, but guess what? It ran. So now, let's see. The choke, it's really weird. It's got this little button up front to clog up this air box. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Not quite. Alright, let's find something relatively clean to kind of half put over that hole just to give it a fighting chance. Fine. I'll shoot it with a little bit of ether then. I'm not sure, unless there's still water in the line somewhere and it's sucking that up. Let me empty the float bowl here. Definitely sucked in some water. We'll cycle that a couple of times. See, you guys, there we go. There's really no way to tighten that either. Close the little drain valve back up. Let's see. It's kind of in an awkward spot. I should have turned that a little bit more. I probably still could. Just grab a 10mm wrench and turn that bowl some. There we go. All right. Let's give her another whirl. Come on, Charger, kick back in. Come on, you can do it. Nope, I've got a 150 amp charger on it right now. I suppose while we're waiting for that, I can just take the bowl, loosen it up just a little bit just to move that drain over. There we go. Just like that. Then I can get a screwdriver right here and get this bowl drained if I need to. Get my directions straight here would be great. There we go. All right. Now the thing with this is it has to be in a gear in order for it to actually do something, which I find really weird, but at the same time it kind of makes sense. So let's find my piece of cardboard that I had earlier. I don't know what I did with it. You guys are probably yelling at me. It's right here. I'm sure it's cleaned off because I don't want sucking anything in. All right, here we go. This charger is throwing an absolute fit. All right, let me do some readjusting. I'll bring you guys back so we can get this thing running. All right, guys, camera had died, so here's the update. Got everything buttoned back up. I did get all of the water finally worked out of the system, and now turn it on here, put it in a forward gear. Look at that. Runs pretty good. So now, let's get you guys set up in a stand, and we're gonna see if this thing has enough power to push itself. Let's go ahead and get this thing closed up. Get the jack down from underneath of it. Let's see if she'll go. Seat put back on. Ugh. Alright guys, so what the problem was is that little pivot point I showed you guys earlier locked up. And I do believe that's what caused this to just quit running altogether. For some reason, water had gotten down inside that little pivot point and locked it all up to where it wasn't able to do anything. The battery still needs to be replaced, but right now it seems to be okay. It is starting up on its own and stuff like that, so I guess as long as it does that pretty much every day, which I do believe this thing's going to be used every day, it should be fine. But this was a fun little thing. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see more content like this, because honestly, I enjoy working on stuff. It's fun. Tiller's over there running. This is now running. I might even give it a bath before I send it back up. Thanks for hanging out, guys.